Constantine episode 6, Blessed Are the Damned. I gotta admit, I definitely loved this episode. I thought it was really, really well done. It pretty much did exactly what I wanted it to. We had to wait until the very end of the episode, but the little hint that they gave us in last week's episode with Manny really helping out, and also with the preview for this episode last week, I was really hoping that we would get to see Manny take an actual interactive approach, and it took a long time, and it didn't happen until the very end, like I said, but we got to see a lot of him, which I thought was still really well done. I wasn't expecting the episode to focus around another angel, which I thought was also really cool, and of course by the end there was a nice little twist where the angel, initially I just thought it was an angel of death, so it was a little bit different, like they had kind of different, ideals, I guess, or whatever, because they were kind of the ones tasked with taking human lives, so it was a little bit different, but she's just a fallen angel who killed a human being, so she was cast out from heaven a lot like Lucifer was. So that was really, really cool. I enjoyed the nice little twist, and the elements they were putting in, like just before Zed got back, I'm like, man, she really wants to take back Earth. It was like, oh crap, like they're introducing this element like really early, so that means typically when that type of thing happens, this one person isn't going to be the only person they show in the TV show, and it probably will be in this case, because she wasn't just like a normal angel who wanted to take Earth back. She was actually a fallen angel who had already killed a human being off, so it was a little bit different, but I thought it was really well done. I thought it looked really cool. Like, of course, when Zed gave her wings back, I thought that looked really, really sweet, and like how they basically, it was kind of like just ink ran down the wings and they went from white to black again. I thought that just looked really sweet. I was like, man, that looks really cool. Her outfit was kind of cool, like just the long black dress. But it looked really sweet, and the story that focused around the preacher and stuff I thought was pretty cool too, and how she was able to trick the guy because he was actually going to hell because he killed someone, but he kind of ignored the fact that he did, and so he had that mortal sin on his soul, so he was actually going to hell, and she tricked him and saved him. And initially I thought that when Constantine found that out, he said like, oh, we can't let Zed give her the feather back. I thought he said that because that would mean she would come after the guy and take him back to hell, or like take him to hell like she was supposed to. But I was completely wrong, and that I was like thinking something totally different, because I was thinking like, why would he, like I get he wants to like help everyone, but it's like you got like 3 or 4 people who have been turned into like these ghouls. Why would you just save this one guy? And then it was like, oh, it's because she's actually a fallen angel and she's actually evil. So that was actually really cool. I thought it was really sweet, and the guy had like some interesting complex issues. It was weird. It was I think the thing that was interesting most about the guy who's the preacher is that he wasn't so cautious because this feather like made him evil or anything. That's what was kind of funny. It wasn't that he got this power and it was slowly taking over his mind. It was nothing like that. He simply felt that he was seriously blessed by God, and they even addressed that in the episode, like with his sister, where she's like, even before you got this power, and even before Dad died, you've been acting really weird. I don't know what it is, but it's not this power or losing Dad. So it was kind of cool how they did that, because his actions, where he had this really big sin, and it was like somehow, me of all people, like I killed a guy by accident and I kind of just let it go and fall to the wayside. Even with that, I was given this power by God, and it in itself kind of manipulated him, and it wasn't like this power was taking over. It was simply he had this big issue, and it was like this huge evil thing that he done, versus this really amazing gift from God. At least that's what he thought it was. And I thought that was a really cool way for them to write the character, because it wasn't like, oh, he's evil because it's taking over. It was like he had these issues simply because of what he'd done in his normal life. It had nothing to do with the power. So I thought that was really cool, and the way he would defend himself or kind of lash out in certain aspects, like against his sister and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. It had nothing to do with the magic. It was just the man. So I thought that was really sweet. Of course, it was all Constantine and Zed in this episode, which I thought was really good. I feel like we got way more out of Zed than we have in any other episode. Like, we had her just, like, she was talking like crazy in this episode, and it was kind of interesting when I was watching it. We got to see her, like, painting a model and stuff, which ultimately actually tied into the story. I thought initially it was just like she's we're getting to see her do her everyday thing, even though she's of course tied in with Constantine now. She still goes out and she has her normal life, and she gets affected, like her freaking out because she sees snakes around her feet. I thought that was the point of that, just to kind of have it where it's like, this guy doesn't really matter. It's just a portion, at least, of her everyday life. But that ties into people coming after her, which we're going to get to see in next week's episode, which I'm really excited for. Mostly because they actually break into the cabin. So, who knows what sort of craziness is going to come out of that, because they're going to probably write it in where someone puts their hands on something a little bit too powerful, and next thing we know, we got like another comic book character coming to life. So I'm really excited for that. And even if that doesn't happen, I feel like, whoever this guy is who was at the end of the episode who had the model ask that out, they're going after her for a very important reason. So I'm really, really excited for that. But in between those, big moments kind of leading up to next week's episode, we got a ton of stuff with Zed. We got to learn about kind of her religious side of things and how she grew up with religion, and not, she grew up knowing it, but over time and getting older, it was like, I uncovered a lot of the lies. And I was like, I'm looking right here, and there's, this angel, and this guy's like healing people, and he made a blind guy see, and that could have been fake, but of course the guy with the scars, when she saw that, it was like, okay, now I really understand. So we got a lot of her doing that. We actually got a lot of her speaking Spanish, like in like the random little bits and pieces. She said like "Ay Dios mío" and stuff like that, which I thought was interesting, because I feel like it was just, I don't know, a bit more out of her character compared to what we normally see, where she says like a little bit here and a little bit there. And in this episode, she was really out there. Like, you could tell, like, when she had the vision, even when she, came down to talk to Constantine, it was like, she was super excited and stuff. Like, I had this vision, and it freaked her out, and she was just super excited. Like, I saw these snakes around my legs, and it really felt like one even bit me on the leg and stuff. And so she was just really excited about it, and it wasn't like the past couple of episodes. So she's kind of, bonding not only with Constantine, but with her own abilities and who she is as, a human being. So I thought that was just really cool. We got to see more of her light side, including, her kind of developing her powers and enjoying the fact that she doesn't have to be with Constantine in order for them to activate. It's like, she doesn't even have to try to activate them. She's just painting, a model, painting a picture of a model, and boom, she just gets hit with this sense, and it's like, there's snakes at my feet. So it was really cool to see that aspect of her character, where she's just excited and learning about herself and knowing that her powers are expanding, and she's just excited like anyone else would be. Like, I have this amazing ability that I at least finally understand now, and it's gone to the next level where I don't even have to try, and it, like, boom, it just happens. So that was really cool. I thought that was actually a really great thing for us to see in this episode, and it tied in really well with the stuff we got from Manny, where he learned from the fallen angel, Imogene, I believe her name was. He learned the stuff about pain, and he was asking the questions I expected him to ask, like, what does pain feel like, and what does it really feel like when the sun is on you and you're corporeal and stuff. I thought that was actually really cool. We got to learn a little bit about him, and we get to see the inner workings of this angel. We got to learn a bit about Manny and just his more human, side, I guess. Like, what does it feel like to be human and be physical and stuff? So that was really cool. I enjoyed the episode. The whole aspect of it I thought was really well done. We got to see, like I said, Manny by the end of this episode, and he kind of, I don't really know how to say, I guess he does take over people, because by the end of this episode we do actually see it, because I always wonder in the other episodes if he really took over those people or if he just took their place, because he always stops time anyway. So I was like, I don't know if he's really there at all, or if it's like he's kind of, taking the place of someone, and then they kind of just pop back into place. But, this kind of answered the question for me. Like, he does physically take over these people's bodies, because when he actually disappears, Zed is there with the fallen angel's heart in their hand. So that kind of answered a little question I had. But that was really cool, and, it kind of ended. I don't know what that gold mask was, but I feel like that was there as some reference to something in the comics. I don't know at all what that was, but if you do know, please let me know. Like, the first thing I thought of was because it was a gold mask. It made me think of the Dr. Fate helmet, but we've already seen that, and I actually know what that looks like. So it made me think of that simply because it was gold. but I feel like they put it there for a reason. Like, it's a gold mask. I feel like it had to be there for some reference reason, so anyone who actually knew what it was could be like, oh, there's that mask or whatever. But I have no idea what it is. I just wanted to point that out. So I feel like it was there for a reason, because it's kind of what they do in the show. They show off little things here and there as references that some people get, some people don't. Some stuff isn't, specific to Constantine, so it could really be anything in the DC universe. But if it is Constantine, I really don't know what it is then, because I don't know anything about it. But love the episode, of course. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought about it, your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and what did you guys think about Manny finally stepping in this episode? I mentioned it last week that this is what I wanted from this episode, so of course I loved it. I thought it was just great. Like, we got to learn even more than I was expecting. He wasn't really involved in the way I thought he would be. It wasn't as tense until the very end of the episode, but we got to learn even more than I was hoping for, where we got to see his more human side when he asked the angel, how does this and that feel? So I loved it. It was great watching him step in and him really freaking out. Like, even in the beginning when they were at the little pond while the fish had died, he had to give the little riddle, and it was like, you could tell he wanted to help. And Constantine's like, these little riddles, like just do something. He's like, I can't, sway the balance. I can't do that. So I thought it was really great. But of course, I want to know what you guys think. So like I said, comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.